Carl Jung found something that would change how we understand mental conflict forever. He noticed that when a narcissist realizes you have become more aware, more clear, and too dangerous to control, they do not simply step away. Instead, they make one last desperate move. This is a deep psychological tactic meant to crack your sense of reality and slowly turn your own world against you. This is not just a louder version of their old behavior. It is a full reversal of truth itself. It is the final and most poisonous strike of a trapped mind, born from the terror of being truly seen. Jung's work shows that this final move is not proof that you are losing, but strong evidence that you have already won mentally. It is the frantic action they use only when they know, deep inside, that they no longer have control over you. In Jung's broad map of the human mind, he describes something called the persona. This is the mask we show to the outside world. It is the carefully shaped set of roles, behaviors, and traits we believe are acceptable for others to see. For most people, the persona is flexible. It helps us move between our inner self and society so we can function, connect, and survive. But Jung's deep study of narcissistic minds revealed something disturbing. For the narcissist, the persona is not a tool. It is a fortress. It is not a mask they wear, but an empty statue they worship as their entire identity. Their sense of self is glued to this fragile outer image of being superior, charming, flawless, and important. Without it, they feel like nothing. At some point in your relationship with such a person, a quiet but powerful moment appears. It is subtle, like a small crack forming in solid ground. It is the moment when you see clearly, not through shouting or arguing, but through calm awareness. You see the fear hiding behind their confidence. You notice the emptiness behind their loud words. You sense the frightened child pulling the levers of a loud and frightening machine. In that brief moment, your awareness becomes a mirror, and what it reflects back to them is not the perfect image they believe in, but the confused, chaotic truth they work so hard to hide. This moment creates a deep psychological emergency for the narcissist. The mask that once protected them from their buried feelings of worthlessness has become transparent. They do not experience this as a difference of opinion. They feel it as a threat to survival. Your clarity becomes dangerous because it proves that their entire identity is a construction, a story that no longer works on you. When you stop playing along with their false reality, the fortress of their persona begins to collapse, and the person trapped inside feels panic. From this panic, their most manipulative plans are born. They cannot allow a mirror like you to exist. Your presence threatens to force them to face the one thing they have spent their whole life avoiding, their true self. They must destroy the mirror. Not because you are their enemy, but because you hold a truth they cannot bear to see. Their real battle is not against you. It is against awareness itself, and you have become its unexpected guardian. This is the real beginning of the end. From this point on, they will begin their final and most desperate push. They must extinguish the light of your awareness so they can drag reality back into the darkness where their illusions survive. The attack that follows is not caused by something you did. It is caused by what you have become. Someone who cannot be deceived anymore. You have shifted from being a source of supply into a threat to their entire mental structure. When this happens, the narcissist enters a new phase. They begin watching you closely. They begin testing quietly. This stage is often overlooked, but it is critical. It is the moment when they realize their usual tools no longer work and they start searching for new ways in. Carl Jung also taught that every person has a shadow. This is the hidden space where we place the parts of ourselves we reject, deny, or refuse to accept. It holds our fears, shame, jealousy, rage, and pain. Most people slowly learn to understand their shadow over time. They make peace with it, learn from it, and grow. The narcissist does not do this. They lock their shadow away and throw it onto other people. They refuse to own their darkness, so they try to see it everywhere outside themselves. When you become mentally strong and aware, this system begins to fail. You stop being a silent screen for their projections. The shadow they once dumped onto you starts bouncing back toward them. This creates terror. They cannot tolerate facing their own shadow. This is what triggers the first phase of their final effort, what Jung would describe as a testing phase. This is not random behavior. It is calculated psychological scouting. The narcissist begins probing your boundaries with quiet precision. These are not dramatic attacks yet. They are small, subtle moves designed to locate weakness. They search for emotional entry points that once allowed them control. They may offer a comment that sounds kind on the surface but feels sharp underneath. They may slightly rewrite a shared memory to see if you still doubt yourself. They may suddenly appear wounded or helpless to test whether they can still pull you back into rescuing them. Each of these actions is a whisper from their shadow. It is an attempt to see if their darkness can still live inside you. They study your response carefully. They are not listening to what you say as much as they are watching how you say it. Do you respond calmly or defensively? Do you stay grounded or start explaining yourself too much? Over-explaining signals that part of you still seeks their approval. Jung understood that this stage is critical. If you consistently refuse these tests, you do more than protect your peace. You confirm their greatest fear. You show them that you have truly changed. You demonstrate that the doors they once used to poison your mind are now closed. By standing firm, you reveal yourself as a real threat. You prove that their psychological games no longer work. This does not lead to respect. It leads to fear. The narcissist realizes that their main defenses are collapsing. At this point, they begin what could be called mental mapping. They examine your boundaries like an enemy studying a fortress they once entered freely. They observe your emotional walls, your clarity, your silence, your refusal to react. Everything they learn now is not used to repair the relationship, but to prepare a larger attack. Your strength does not stop them. It forces them to escalate. Small manipulations turn into full psychological warfare. The narcissist now moves into a phase of intensity. Carl Jung spoke of a principle where anything pushed to an extreme eventually flips into its opposite. For the narcissist, whose entire life is built around avoiding weakness, losing control over you causes a violent shift. They attempt to compensate by becoming more aggressive, more cruel, and more extreme in their behavior. This stage is meant to exhaust you. It is designed to overwhelm your nervous system and wear down your sense of reality. Subtle gaslighting turns into open denial. They will deny events you both clearly remember. They will invent conversations that never happened. They will claim your memory problems prove you are unstable or cruel. The goal is no longer to confuse one moment, but to destroy your trust in your own mind. Jung understood that when a person loses faith in their own perception, they become easy to control. That is the final aim of this stage. But if you hold your clarity, if you stay anchored in your awareness, their final move fails. And when it fails, there is nothing left for them to use. Becomes much easier to move and control. They are trying to break the connection to your own inner sense, the very place your strength comes from, the thing that once made you a danger to them. At the same time, Their use of projection grows out of control. The shadow they can no longer hide inside you without you noticing is now thrown at you openly and with force. Every bad quality they carry and every cruel action they take is suddenly blamed on you. They will say you are the cruel one, the aggressive one, the selfish one. This goes far beyond a simple defense move. It is a planned attempt to create a fog of confusion so heavy that you begin to question your own feelings and judgment. They are trying to reshape you into the image of their own shadow, forcing you to wear the mask of their darkness so they can continue to see themselves as good and blameless people. It is during this frightening stage that the narcissist often reveals the true depth of their harmful nature by pulling others into the conflict. Jung observed that when some people feel afraid, they instinctively gather a group around them to support their twisted version of reality through shared agreement. The narcissist begins to recruit what are commonly called flying monkeys. They tell carefully designed stories about your supposed wrongdoings to friends, family members, or co-workers, presenting themselves as the wounded, confused, and worried party. They are highly skilled at finding the kindness in others and using it, turning good people into unknowing tools in their personal war against you. This is a deeply complex and painful strategy because it attacks not only your sense of reality but also your social world. It is meant to isolate you, to make you feel like the only unstable person in a world full of calm, reasonable people who all seem to agree about who you really are. The goal of this growing storm is to create a mental environment so harsh and confusing that you eventually collapse under the pressure and return to obeying them just to make the chaos stop. They are waiting for exhaustion to do what fear could not. But there comes a moment when the narcissist is forced to face a terrifying truth. Even this massive attack fails. Your anchor stays firm, and your steady refusal to break exposes their storm as nothing more than noise. A frantic display of weak anger contained in a very small space. For the narcissist, this is not simply a loss. It feels like the erasing of their entire existence. It is the final proof that they have completely lost control over you and over the reality they desperately need to dominate. This realization, rooted in the deep ideas of Jung, pushes them into a state of total psychological terror known as narcissistic shame. This is not just a bruise to their ego, it feels like a death of the self. The false god they built as their identity collapses. Through the cracks, they are forced into terrifying closeness with the loud, endless emptiness they have spent their whole lives running from. This is their greatest disaster because it exposes their deep sense of worthlessness, not as a distant fear, but as the very ground beneath their feet. From the lowest point of this shame, from the center of this inner collapse, they release their final and most destructive weapon. This is not just another trick from their usual playbook. It is a complete rewriting of the game itself. It is the grand plan, the twisted miracle of their false inner theater. When a narcissist can no longer control you, they attempt what Jung described as a total psychological reversal. This is not simple lying or small changes to a story. It is a desperate and chaotic attempt at a kind of mental illusion. They try to flip the entire moral reality of the relationship upside down. In this final and disturbing act, the narcissist, who has been the aggressor, the manipulator, and the source of emotional poison, carefully and with full belief casts themselves as the innocent, wounded victim. And you, the one who survived the storm, kept your clarity, and stood firm through constant attacks, are painted as the cruel, unstable, and hateful aggressor. This is not just a lie told to others. It is a new reality they are trying to bring into existence. It is a false belief system they must live inside to protect themselves from the unbearable truth of their own inner emptiness. This massive reversal is the highest form of what Jung called shadow projection. Throughout your time with them, they place their hidden flaws and darkness onto you. Now, in their state of collapse, they are not just throwing a few traits your way, they are attempting a total psychological dump. They are trying to move the full weight of their shame, their broken ego, and their burning humiliation into your inner world. They want to turn you into the living symbol of their failure. Every boundary you set is rewritten after the fact as an act of deliberate cruelty. Every moment of self-respect you show is reframed as evidence of extreme arrogance. Your refusal to play along with their mental games is described as a calculated plan of abuse against them. They become frantic and obsessed storytellers, inventing a past that never existed. They carefully construct a story where they are endlessly patient and kind, and you are monstrous and cruel. What makes this so frightening is that they believe this story themselves. They cling to it with the panic of a drowning person grabbing onto floating debris. In that state, they are not pretending. They are fully immersed in the lie because it is the only thing keeping them from facing their inner collapse. What makes this strategy so dangerous and powerful is that it goes beyond personal lies and reaches into the shared structure of human thinking. Jung spoke of the collective mind, a shared mental inheritance of patterns and instincts that all people draw from. Within this deep layer exist powerful symbols like the hero, the mother, the trickster, and the victim. These are not simple ideas. They are large emotional forces that automatically command respect and attention. In their final move, the narcissist commits a deep psychological violation by wrapping themselves in the powerful symbol of the victim. The victim holds a sacred place in the human psyche. It activates our strongest instincts of compassion, protection, and justice. When we encounter a real victim, something deep inside us responds without conscious thought. The narcissist understands this instinct well. They play the role with great precision, faking vulnerability and pain in ways that bypass logic and speak directly to the unconscious mind of those around them. At the same time, they assign you the opposite role, the cold and intentional abuser. This is not simple name-calling. It is a calculated effort to remove you from the circle of shared humanity. They are trying to place you outside the boundary of compassion, turning the natural protective instincts of the group against you. They hijack systems of care and empathy and turn them into weapons. This is why this final phase feels so deeply wrong on a soul level. It violates an unspoken moral rule. They use a symbol meant to protect the vulnerable as a shield for cruelty. Because people respond to the symbol instead of the truth, they unknowingly participate in the harm. The narcissist is not merely trying to win an argument or damage your reputation. They are attempting to take control of the emotional center of your community, turning friends into supporters of a lie and leaving you isolated. The deeper goal of this reversal goes far beyond loneliness or public shame. The true aim is much darker. It is an attempt at the destruction of the self. Their final wish is not only for you to be alone, but for you to look at yourself and see the monster they invented. They want you to become so lost in the fog of their false reality, so abandoned by others, and so worn down by constant defense that you finally surrender and accept their story as truth. Their goal is to extinguish the light of your real identity. They want you to doubt your own goodness, your own perception, and your own right to exist as you are. They want you to believe, at the deepest level, that you are the aggressor, that you are the villain, and that you are responsible for all the pain. This is the final desperate act of a collapsing mind trying to drag you down with it. It is psychological terror at its highest level. It is designed not just to silence you, but to sever your connection to your own inner core, leaving you hollow in a world they are desperately trying to reshape. In the next phase, you begin to see the exact ways they carry out this smear campaign. From the subtle hiding of lies inside partial truths to the slow erosion of your reputation, you start to understand why their stories can sound convincing to others. This is not random chaos. It is a carefully staged performance. The Great Reversal, where the narcissist presents themselves as the victim and casts you as the attacker, is not carried out with simple or careless lies. It is a highly skilled form of psychological manipulation. It is a calculated smear campaign built on a deep instinctive understanding of how human perception works. Jung's work shows that narcissistic individuals are often highly skilled at influencing group thinking, and their final struggle against you becomes their most dramatic performance. They do not shout lies openly and without care. They construct a detailed mental theater with a carefully written script, a distorted and threatening version of you, and a story so emotionally powerful that even people who once trusted you may be pulled into it without realizing what they are supporting. Understanding this process explains why their lies can feel so real and frightening to others, and why this stage of the experience can feel so isolating and painful. The foundation of this entire performance is the script itself, and its power comes from how believable, emotional, and familiar it sounds to the human mind.